f5, striking through in the center. Undoubling your f-pawns, giving black doubled f-pawns, but we're not going to take straight away because knight on f3 is useless because it can't go into e5 thanks to the pawn on f6. So it now becomes very useful with knight h4. And here is the brilliant idea, bishop h7, coming round the back, because the truth is this pawn can't go any further because of the white queen on a8. At the same time, we can use the bishop to go to h7 and play bishop g8 check. Wow. Magnus Carlsen versus Ding Liren. This is the semi-final of the Magnus Carlsen Invitational. At the moment, Ding is leading by a point, and now Carlsen has the white pieces. It is his time to strike back. So let's check out this game now. Carlsen, world number 1, 29 years old, rapid rating 2881. Ding Liren, Chinese number 1, world number 3, rapid rating 2836. Carlsen has white, Ding has black. The game began d4, knight f6, knight f3, d5, bishop f4, the London system, e6, knight d2, and c5, striking in the center straight away. e3 and queen b6, because the bishop is on f4. It is no longer on c1 protecting the b2 pawn, so Ding gets his queen out early, forcing a decision from white, so he just goes rook b1. Bishop d6 and c3, a huge decision by Carlsen. Magnus, he's really going for an imbalanced pawn structure, because after take, 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 the advantage is white has another pawn controlling the e5 square. The downside is white's d pawn is isolated, knight c6 and knight b3. The placement of this knight, it looks a bit awkward. Ding tries to punish it now with a5. a3, a4 and knight c1. The queen on d1 still needs to protect d4, so white has to go to c1. Magnus now goes for a nice rerouting. Bishop d7, knight a2, knight e4 and knight c3 before getting this bishop out and then castling. This knight has gone on a long journey. It used to be on b1. Knight to d2, then to b3. It was kicked by the pawn on a4, so the knight went back to c1, and then time to reroute. From the last two moves, it went to a2 and now back to c3. So it's been on a long journey, but was the journey even worth it? Maybe. Queen c7, attacking f4, so just g3, and knight c3, changing the structure dramatically, because after bc3, white's central pawn structure is not isolated anymore, but the c3 pawn is the new target, so Ding goes knight a5. Queen on c7 attacks the pawn on c3, so rook c1, knight b3, rook c2. This rook looks awkward on c2. Queen d6, going for the a3 pawn. There's no good way to defend it, so Carlsen just develops. Bishop d3, queen takes a3, castle, and f6. A big decision by Ding. Another option was just to castle. This looks sensible, but Ding was worried about a knight hopping into e5. Knight e5, let's just bring the queen back. Rook e1, b5, and white can try to generate an attack, maybe queen h5, maybe f5. But when this happens, you can play f5 in one go. The knight looks amazing on e5, but what's more amazing is black has a pass pawn on the other side of the board. So black has a great position here. Also, black is threatening b4 to break up this structure, because this knight on b3 is attacking the d4 pawn. Back to the game, Ding played f6, stopping knight e5, but this bishop is now looking even better on this diagonal. Because after rook e1 castle, at the moment there's only one piece defending the h7 pawn, which is the king. Queen b1, this is a really cool move by Carlsen. When the rook on c2 moves, naturally it can go to e2, then the queen and bishop form a nice battery. Queen d6, rook e2. Now queen b1, bishop d3 attack the h7 pawn, and h6 was played, leaving a lot of light squares as holes around the black king. One option was to admit your error and play f5. This is unlikely for Ding to play because he played f6 a few moves ago. It's very difficult psychologically to admit to yourself that the move you played 2 moves ago was wrong. But this is still possible. You give white the chance to go here, and if rook e8, king g2, the game goes on. Maybe white can go g4 later, maybe white can attack the knight on b3. For example, if b5, then bishop c2. Forcing this knight back, black is still up a pawn on the queen side, and maybe white can keep playing here with g4. Breaking this up, but g6 is next, and the game has just begun. However, in the game, h6 was played, f5, striking through in the center. Undoubling your f-pawns, giving black doubled f-pawns, but we're not going to take straight away because knight on f3 is useless because it can't go into e5 thanks to the pawn on f6. So it now becomes very useful with knight h4. Planning to capture, and ideas knight g6 as well. Rook e8, knight takes f5. Bishop takes f5 played in the game. Now after this, knight takes f5 by white. Black is in trouble. For example, you can't move the queen because knight e7 check, and if you move the king in the corner, knight g6 check, and you will pick up the exchange. After knight e7 check, you can't go king f7 because bishop g6 is just mate. In the game, knight takes f5 played, bishop takes, and rook takes e8 because this bishop, it was defending the rook on e8, so after black played bishop takes f5, rook takes e8, winning the exchange. White is taking over. Knight d2. Really cool move by Ding, trying to mix it up a little bit. Now rook takes f8 check, king takes, and queen b7 is the brilliant move by Carlsen. You can't play queen d1, which looks natural because you want to stop knight f3 check. But the game has now transformed because black can take on d3, queen d2, bishop c4. And black has some good chances to hold. The a-pawn will always provide counterplay, and if queen e3 trying to checkmate black, you can just go queen d7. And black can take his time just marching the pawns up, trying to make some progress. But after rook takes f8 check, king takes f8, queen takes b7 was the brilliant move by Carlsen. Allowing knight f3 check, but only one move here, king h1. Wow. You can't go king g2 because knight takes e1 will be checked. And white is now winning. What a turnaround. Knight takes e1, gotta take the rook, and bishop takes f5 was played. And highlighting all the weaknesses around the black king. This is all the light squares. However, there was a very important intermezzo here, beginning with the brilliant queen a8 check first. Then you can take the bishop. Now what is the difference? We will see very soon. The king has to move to f7. Bishop takes f5, a3. You have a passed pawn, so march it. The queen is supporting it. And here is the brilliant idea, bishop h7, coming round the back, because the truth is this pawn can't go any further because of the white queen on a8. At the same time, we can use the bishop to go to h7 and play bishop g8 check. Wow. f5 is one variation. Just to show you a worse variation, knight f3 doesn't work because bishop g8 check, king e7, bishop d5, attacking the knight, so if you move it, white is now winning. Maybe he can just go c4 just to stabilize the position. This looks pretty good. After bishop h7, if f5 giving some room, check, king moves, and then it's the same thing, bishop d5. What a stunning variation, and not a surprise Carlsen missed it. He played the logical move, which is just to recapture the bishop. And in this position, Ding blundered with knight f3, and Carlsen won very soon. A better option was queen e7, just to stop the queen being so useful along the 7th rank. And if you play queen a6, knight f3, it doesn't work, trying to go queen e1 check, because bishop e6 cutting off the black queen. f5, bishop d5, the king can go to g2. Very safe there, queen e1 check, king g2 check, king f3 check, move the king. You grab the bishop, but then queen a4, you are winning. So after queen e7, queen a6, a better option, you might just go king f7. And then the game goes on. White is better here. However, in the game, knight f3 played. Pause the video to find the tactic. A short combination. What did white play to checkmate the black king? I'll give you 5 seconds. It has been the theme the entire game. Let's use the bishop to highlight all the squares that are so weak around the black king. Bishop g6, game over. If it's white's move here, the queen can go to f7, it will be checkmate. And if you stop it with knight g5, then queen c8, checkmate. If you go queen d8, then you just take it. If you go king e7, then queen e8 will be mate. Now after bishop g6, you may be asking, is there another way to block? Maybe. You can use the queen, but then you still go to the back rank. And the king has no good square, so after this you can take, and that will be checkmate. This is how Carlsen leveled the match with 1.5 each, going into the final game. This is the final standings. Carlsen ended up winning the last game with black, reaching tomorrow's final between Carlsen and Nakamura. Check out one video here and another video over here. If you enjoyed the show, why not like the video and subscribe to the channel at the same time. Don't forget to hit that bell to get notified each time I release a new one. Thank you so much for watching.